was sitting in the listening to questions in the Beis Hora in Lakewood.
Of course.
Somebody calls in. He asks the question to the rabbi. He says, "I want to be like you. What do I need to learn in order to be a posek like you?" He told him, "I'm not sure. I'm not finished learning. I still have a lot to do. I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot to do. Why don't you go find the kollel in your neighborhood?" He asked him where he lives, and they told him to go there. The point is, he's trying to tell him is that you really have to have a consistent, small nuggets. You have to learn everything consistent, small nuggets, and over time, it'll add up to a lot.
Baruchim Abayim, and welcome to Torah Talks Chazaq's Tuesday night program with special guests. We have with us all the way from Lakewood, Rabbi Simcha Weisz. Baruch haba. Welcome. So good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to be speaking about the greatest investment. And before we get to the greatest investment, if we get a little bit of background about the rabbi.
Thank you.
Sure.
I feel the warmth and the hospitality here. My name is Simcha Weisz. I have two passions or hobbies when it comes to Harbatas Torah. One is chinuch, and then the other is halacha. I learned in Koil B'nai Torah by Rabbi Lefkowitz for many years.
My dear friend.
You know Rabbi Lefkowitz?
Of course.
Okay, very nice. And Baruch Hashem has smicha from Rabbi Moshe Heinemann from Baltimore. I'm not a posek, but I'm a Talmud. You know, I enjoy very much learning halacha. And I want to speak about how important halacha is, you know, as an investment of time, you know, in a person's daily learning.
Amazing. So you're saying the greatest investment in a sense is the time in learning. So what halacha primarily. Okay, amazing. So why is learning halacha so important? There's daf yomi, there's a yomi for this, yomi for that. Why is it important? Why would you say halacha is so important to include in a person's daily learning, Rabbi?
So it's really the premier way to spend one's time in learning. I'm gonna read to you what the Chafetz Chaim says in his own words. Kishalomed rak ma'at. If a person learns just a little bit, Nachon she'ikr limuda. It's proper that his main learning should be b'halachot sheyoda eich lehisnaig l'matzah. He should know how to act l'maisa. That's what he says. He says in a few places, and it sounds like a stark statement that this person has 20 minutes a day. He should spend it on learning halacha l'maisa. So obviously he needs a source. He needs a proof to that. So his proof is from the Gemara in Brachot, Daf Ches. The Gemara brings a pasuk. Ohev Hashem sharet Zion mikol mishkanot Yaakov. Simply, this pasuk means Hashem loves Yerushalayim. He loves the place in Yerushalayim, the gates of Zion, from all other places. But the Gemara says a drash. Ohev Hashem Sharei Zion. Hashem loves Sharei could also mean not only a gate, it could also mean a bestin. The pasuk uses the word shar as a bestin. Zion in the rules of drash, you could change the sound of the vav from o to u. So shar tziyun, that's how the Tzafnas Paneach explains. Tziyun means a mark. So when a person learns a sugya and at the end he came out with a final psak, with a final understanding of it, that's tziyun. So Ohev Hashem Sharei Tziyun Mikol Mishkanot Yaakov. Hashem loves the Batei Dinim that come out with a psak from all the other Batei Midrashim and whatever they learn. That's what the Gemara says, and the Gemara adds to that if a person learns halacha, he has the Shechina. How does he have the Shechina? Because when the Beis HaMikdash was around, there was a Lishchas HaKazis, where all the Sanhedrin sat, and there was Shechina there. Obviously, talking about the great Sanhedrin, there was for sure Shechina there. So when the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, where did all that Shechina go? The Maharsha explains that's what the Gemara means when the Gemara says that Miyom shecharav beis hamikdash, from the day that the beis hamikdash was destroyed, ein loy lahakadosh baruch hu ba'olamai, Hashem doesn't have in His world, ella arba amesh halacha bavad, only the 4 cubits of halacha, because that Shechina in the Sanhedrin was displaced. Where was it going to go? So it finds itself in a place where a person learns halacha. Now there's so many halachot from when we wake up in the morning, the brachot we say as we wake up, and the way we wash our hands, and what we say before we go to daven, and the way we put on tefillin and talit, and all different halachot, and then when we leave the shul, and then when we go to work, and then how to do business, and then we have halachos, we have mincha, and you have halachos of that, and then all the way till we get home, and then when we eat, and we have brachot, and then when we go to sleep, and then how we go to sleep, and how we use the bathroom, everything, the whole entire day, wherever we walk, wherever we live, the whole day is all halachot.
Halacha is our sheitavat hariyul Hashem kol haaretz. Every single move, every single.
Yeah, it's surrounding us the entire day. So, if a person doesn't have a strong understanding of halacha, then how is he going to know what to do? And 1 out of every 7 days is Shabbat Kodesh. And the Chafetz Chaim writes in his introduction, he brings the words from the Yaros Tvash, Ki efshar klal, it's impossible b'mitziut. It's impossible in practical, in any rules of nature. Sheinotzel me'isr Shabbos im lo yilmad kol hadinim al buriyim heitev. If a person doesn't learn all the rules of Shabbos al buriyim in clarity, heitev, really well, it says impossible to not by mistake make a mistake and be mechal Shabbos. So the Chafetz Chaim brings in the introduction from Rav Chaim Vital, there is exactly 248 limbs that a person has, and there's exactly 248 positive commandments. And Chaim Vital writes that every single limb of a person gets sustenance, gets life from a mitzvah, from a specific mitzvah. And when a person uses his hands, when a person uses his feet, when a person walks around, everything that a person does with his body, that gives sustenance to that limb. And he says that there are different types of limbs, there are different types of mitzvot. Certain limbs a person can live with, certain limbs a person can't live with. A hand, an arm, sometimes, unfortunately, people could live without it. But a heart, a brain, you can't live without it. So he says that there are certain mitzvot that come to the core, come to the essence of Yahadut, that a person cannot spiritually, eternally, he can't live without it. So emunah, belief in Hashem, that's the mind, that's the bitachon, that's the lev, that's the heart. Can't live without that. He says Shabbat Kodesh. Shabbos is that we're keeping Shabbos because we believe that Hashem created the world. Avodah Zarah, anything that's related to the core of Yahadut, that gives a person life. And he says that's what it means. That's what it means when the Pasuk always talks about mitzvot like life. Uses the word life, like Asher Yaseh Adam v'chai bahem. A person will do it and he'll live with them. Yeah. So what Rav Chaim Vital says is that in the future, Lasid Lavo, a person is going to his body, his future body is going to be sustained by the mitzvot that he did when he was on this world and he was alive. So that's what it means, v'chai b'hem. A person does the mitzvot, then it will be v'chai b'hem. Ki hu chayecha v'orach yamecha. V'chai olam nata betochenu. All these psukim that discuss life. And the Chafetz Chaim says that's what it means at the end of Kohelet. It says, Sof davar hakol nishma. At the end of life, Hakol Nishma, everything is going to be heard. It means everyone will know how careful everyone is with their mitzvot. You'll be able to see the handicap, if it's a physical handicap, it's a mental handicap, it's an emotional handicap. Be able to see what the person was careful in. That's why it says, Es Elokim, continues the pasuk, Es Elokim yira, a person needs to fear Hashem, Ves mitzvosav shemor, he'll keep the mitzvahs, Kizeh kol adam, this is the whole person. The whole person needs all the mitzvot.
Very nice.
Every single part of the day, it's the whole entire day.
100%. So Rabbi Weisz, one might say, all these halachot, it's so vast, so many volumes, so many books, so many topics, so many details. Let's leave it to the rabbis. I have a question. I go to the rabbi. Why is it that the average individual, the regular person, no one's regular, but why is it that he should jump into the bandwagon with regards to learning these halachot?
So someone who doesn't have so many questions when it comes to halachot, so he either he knows a lot, he knows everything, that could be, or he doesn't know enough to ask. Sometimes a person has to have a background in order to be able to ask. So if he does know enough to ask, and he has a rabbi that he could always call, is a rabbi always available? There really is so much to know. There really is so many details to know. Unless the person has a personal bodyguard that he could turn around to every second, and he could say, tap him on the shoulder and ask him, what do I do now? So how do I do this? What do I do? It's not really practical. It's not really practical. And it's not only that. It's, when it comes to math, some people, they freeze up. They have say they hear somebody making a calculation, they start making, and you think to yourself, okay, this is not for me. Let me know when you're done. I trust you. Okay. What is that? That's like yush. That's like giving up. That's like, it's too much. It's too big. It's not for me. But a person, it's really the same thing with halacha. There's a place in Lakewood called Mike's Chicken. I don't know if you heard of it. Okay, they sell good chicken, and people buy it, and they have on one of their boxes, it says that if you want to warm this chicken up for Shabbos, what you do is there's a method that on Shabbos you can take it out of the refrigerator and you can warm it up on Shabbos. This dry chicken, cooked dry chicken. What do? You need a blech. You take a 9x13, or you take a pan, you flip it, you turn it over, and then you put the chicken on top of it. If somebody doesn't understand what that's about, it's like you're lost. Like, okay, how do I do it? Okay, I have to take it out. Okay, it has to be dry. Okay, put it over here. It has to be on a blech. Okay, to flip over the pan. Okay, I can't put it in a pan right side up, but it has to be upside down. Okay, now I have to put it on top of it. Okay, it's good now. It's fine. The rabbi's okay with it. So if a person understands what this is about, it's a psak from Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Usually we don't allow on Shabbos to put on top of a fire. This is really considered on top of a fire. So we usually don't allow it, but since it's on top of a blech, it might be considered smicha, like you're putting it on the side of the fire instead of the top of the fire. But a person can be an educated Jew. And when he sees something, when he sees halachic instructions, he could feel empowered. Say, I understand what this is. If a person goes to buy a daled minim, and he sees people looking at the esrog, he's looking at it. I don't know. It looks nice to me. I don't know. He doesn't know what he's supposed to be looking for. And he has a long lulav. He doesn't know. He sees the rabbi is coming. He takes out his loop, his magnifying glass, and he's looking at it like this, and he's looking at it like that. He doesn't know what anybody's looking at. He says, "Oh, bring it to the rabbi." Like what you said, "I'll bring it to the rabbi, and he'll figure it out for me." But you really could know it. You really could understand. It's really not that hard to know the basic framework of all the halachas, to be able to feel empowered, to be able to...
100%. A person feels also when he knows knowledge is power, in a sense, empowerment. He feels that givaldik, that geschmack, that good feeling. 100%. I see it all the time. Yeah. When an individual knows his halacha, he knows his svarim, he knows what to do, when to do, and how to do it. It's a game changer, 100%. So one might ask, there's so many different svarim when it comes to halacha. We could go on and on about the different names, but what really sticks out a lot in the Olam Yeshivot is the Mishnah Berurah by the Chafetz Chaim. Why is that? And maybe you can enlighten us.
Right. So the truth is that if you're looking for simplicity, there's so many ways a person can dedicate 20 minutes a day, to halacha, and over time he'll really see how much he knows. There really is a lot of simple way. I have a friend who learns Yalkut Yosef. He says it's very clear, super
Very clear.
clear.
Yeah. We do in the Bet Knesset by our shul after Shacharit. Whoever does 2 halachot today is guaranteed a place in the world to come. So I do every single day a few halachot, and it adds up. Mamash, it gives a lot of the people chizuk, a lot of inspiration. You just cover ground, and
Yeah, there's all different there's all different types of svarim. There's English.
Yeah.
But David Ribiat has a beautiful on Hilchos Shabbos. There's even an English Mishnah Berurah now coming out. A cousin of mine, Or Olam, is there's a lot of ways to do it.
Shout out to my friend Rabbi Bitan from Eretz Yisrael. He has the Yalkut Yosef in English as well.
Yeah.
Very, very popular. A lot of people are using it.
But I still think that if a person's able to, it's a little more difficult. If a person's able to, the Mishnah Berurah is the way to go. Now, I was sitting in the listening to questions in the Beis Hora in Lakewood.
Of course.
And somebody calls in, and he asked the question to the rabbi. He says, "I want to be like you. What do I need to learn in order to be a posek like you?" So he told him, "I'm not sure. I'm not finished learning. I still have a lot to do. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot to do. Why don't you go find a kollel in your neighborhood?" He asked him where he lives, and he told him to go there. The truth is, you really could have told him, there's some basics that every Rav needs to learn. Basar b'chalav, and there's taruvas, and there's chasnida, and the point is, he's trying to tell him is that you really have to have a consistent small nuggets. You have to learn everything consistent small nuggets, and over time, it'll add up to a lot. So the Mishnah Berurah is really a little bit complicated. It is, but the truth is, this problem is really an old problem. It's really more than 800 years old. The Rambam writes in the introduction of his sefer. He says there's a whole Gemara. There's Tanoim and Ameroim, and people don't know how to. He says two problems. People don't have enough time. People don't have enough skill. Figure out how do you paskin, how do you make a psak from the whole sugya? So he said, that's why I'm writing my sefer, and he wrote his sefer for the purpose that a person could literally just read what he wrote and could know what to do. That's what it was. But then the Torah had a problem with that because it didn't have some of the Ashkenaz Rishonim, so he put out the Torah. And then the Bet Yosef went and wrote a long, in-depth, commentary on the Torah. And then he realized, hey, now I defeated the whole purpose. We have the Torah with the Bet Yosef. Now people don't have time and people don't have the skill. What's going to happen? So he wrote the Shulchan Aruch.
Right.
And then the Rav Moshe Isserlis came around. The Ramah, he said, well, it doesn't incorporate the Ashkenaz minhagim. He says, you know what? I'm not going to write my own thing. I'll incorporate it together. We'll put it together. But then you have a few hundred years, you have the Magen Avram, and you have the Taz, and you have the Shach, and some places, and then you have the Chuvas. And so then there was already too much. In order to know what halacha l'maaseh, you had to learn it all. So then the Sharei Tshuva and the Ber Heitev, they wrote a Likut. But then another 100 years passed, and there were many things. Mishnah Berurah writes that the reason why he wrote his sefer is because the Ber Heitev and the Sharei Tshuva is missing a lot of very, very important poskim. He says the El Yerabah, the Mata Yehuda, the Meir Mordechai, Prima Godim, and later the Gra, Rabbi Kiva Eger is all missing. So that's why he wrote the Mishnah Berurah. So, but we have another problem. That was 100 years ago also. Because when the Shulchan Aruch talks about that you can't put the pot on the fire in the oven, and the Ramah says our ovens, and Mishnah Berurah says, yeah, it also is referring to our ovens these days because our ovens are fueled by coal, and it's open, and there's enough space, so it's not considered like a tanur, it's considered like a kira. Our ovens are plugged in. They're gas ovens. So we don't have halacha lamasa from the Mishnah Berurah yet either. So the Dirshu did a wonderful job, and they put on the side a lot of different notes that adapt the Mishnah Berurah to our life, and they have also Tiferes for Sardi Psak also.
Yes, my dear friend.
Yeah, yeah. Also I hear that's really very successful.
It's amazing, when people are learning it non-stop. Chazaq, and we just brought the Dirshu set into the shul as well. The Meftachot at the end, beautiful. It's unbelievable. Mika Amchai said, just to add,
Okay, go ahead.
I was saying how important it is what the rabbi is saying. How basically the importance of learning halakha, Talmud Torah connect Kulam. The biggest mitzvah that we have is learning Torah. So the question is, why is that? There's so many other mitzvot, and the answer is, how are you supposed to do all the other mitzvot the rabbi touched upon this without learning Torah? That's why learning Torah is equal to all the other mitzvot. When you're learning, in essence, you're doing everything as well.
Right.
So it's unbelievable.
Right, but I would say back to what I was saying before is that we have the same problem a little bit now.
Right, that the 100, and it's
still a similar problem because even with the Dirshu,
that's why there's
even with the Dirshu, you have to
coming out.
Yeah, you have to now learn the Shulchan Aruch, you have to learn the Mishnah Berurah, then you have to learn the Dirshu notes. And there's a lot to learn. By the time you're done, you already learned through a lot of things. But I still think that it's really worth the effort. If a person has 20 minutes a day to learn the Mishnah Berurah, even with the notes, maybe he should listen to a shir that's going to guide him through, or maybe you get a chavrusa, or to guide him through what notes to learn and what to focus on. But let's say when it comes to somebody wants to learn about medicine, so he reads a medical book. So it says, what do you do if you're sick? Okay, take penicillin. So you can't use that remedy, for the next ailment, for the next issue. You can't do that. So what is the doc? How come the doctor has a vast knowledge? He has a lot. He knows a lot about medicine. He's able to make the right decisions for that situation. Same thing like a lawyer. He passes the bar, and all of a sudden now he can stand up in court and defend the next criminal. No, it means he has enough knowledge that he could use his knowledge base and he could apply it to the specific situation. An accountant, he gets a CPA. So now, they could take care of your taxes, your tax issue. Well, no, you have to research it. You have to, you could specialize in something specific. So a person, if he wants to be able to have enough knowledge to be able to really do everything right, he has to be able to make comparisons from one thing to the other, because not every situation is you're going to actually read in the Sfarim. And like we said, unless you have a rabbi as a bodyguard, how are you going to know every single moment how to do it? So in order to really build this database, this knowledge of halacha rules and how they apply to each other, because a lot of halacha apply to each other. A person can ask a goy to do a malacha d'Rabbanan for a chola. A chola is like a katan. So even if a katan's not a young child, it's not a chola. There's a lot of rules that apply one to the other. So in order for a person to do that, he really needs to, the Mishnah Berurah has in it more than 1,000 years of halacha history. You start from the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch is really words from most of it is from the Gemara. It's really words from the Gemara. And if it's not from the Gemara, it's from the Gaonim or from the Rishonim. And then you have the Ramah. And then you have the Mishnah Berurah is also dealing with more than 500 years of halacha. And then if you take the proper notes in whichever in the Dirshu, whichever other halacha sefer you use, then you pulled it all together. But besides for knowing, you're allowed to this, you're not allowed to this, but you really built for yourself that database, that vast database. With 20 minutes, a person could learn one side of a page of Mishnah Berurah in the right way, with the right guidance. And after a year or two,
it adds up. 100%.
It adds up.
It's similar to the famous Rabbi Akiva story. He saw a rock, and then there was a hole through the water. The water was, another drop and another drop, another drop. Every single drop, it accumulated to what it became. Same thing with learning. You're going to learn a little bit more and more and more and more, and then you're going to see the mass effect that it has on an individual. Rav Ovadia, just for the record, was very, very big into halacha. He would always tell people, you have a few minutes to learn. You got to learn how to halacha because it tells you what to do. It's tachlis. As opposed to, Gemara, Daf Yomi. Again, everything's amazing, phenomenal, great, but it has to have its priorities straight. Rabbi Simcha Weisz, beautiful, amazing words, gems. We love every single moment of it. We have a minhag, a custom of a final message on our Torah talks.
My final message is, don't give up. Don't think that it's not for me. It's too much. It's too vast. It's too big. I have a rabbi. I'm going to ask him. Everything gets so complicated. It's not true. It's not true. Every single Jew has the same Yerusha, the same inheritance of the Torah as everyone else.
100%.
And the most simple in his mind, he's not simple, but the most simple person could spend 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes a day. The Dirshu cycle is only 5 days a week and 2 days of Chazara. But however you pick, however you do it, with a small amount a day and you plug away at it, even after a year or two, guarantee you'll start feeling successful. Mm-hmm. Guarantee. Give it a year or two, and then you'll start enjoying it.
Success breeds success, and that enjoyment is just going to continue accumulating. You're going to be learning more. You're going to have much more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, right. All of a sudden, you'll find more time.
100%. Yeah. So this is the greatest investment of your time, wherever, ladies and gentlemen. Learning halacha, getting into it every single day, doing a little bit and a little bit more. B'ezrat Hashem, through the Torah, we shall all be zocheh to see the Geula Shlema, the complete redemption. Jagam ben Rabbi Meneswim, the days of men. We want to thank Rabbi Simcha Weisz. Right. All the way from Lakewood, New Jersey, for the beautiful words of Chizuk. We want to remind everyone, every single Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Chazaq Torah Talk with special guests. They and so many amazing feedback we've been getting. Please continue sending it over to us, info@chazaq, chazaq.org, info@chazaq.org. We want to give a shout out and thank you to our friends at Torah Anytime for hosting this platform, this podcast, along with all the other platforms, dozens of others. I don't even know all the names of them, Baruch Hashem, but we're getting amazing feedback. Special thanks to our friends at Daily Giving. $1 a day really goes a very far way. To the most amazing Chazaq staff in the entire world, thank you so much to Nathan Bahar behind the camera, our media director, and to our donors and supporters and board members and volunteers. Thank you very much. And we should only hear B'sarot Tovot, we should only hear good news. Chazaq u'Baruch. Shkoyach. Amazing.